Greetings and welcome. You found us. This is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. We're on chapter 48 today, and it's titled Old Wounds. As always, all rights to the original book and to my presentation of it are reserved. Here we go. Take your seat. It's ready for you. We always look forward to seeing you. Thanks for coming. This is chapter 48, Old Wounds. Collette had tried to bury the experiences with Schmidt so deeply, so completely in her past that her current life felt like it was built upon nothing but miracles and love. Oscar had been her greatest hero. He still was. He was far more than a young girl she once would have believed even existed. Oscar was good. As bad as Schmidt had been, Oscar was as good or even better. Even far better, and Collette knew it, and she thanked God every day of her existence for sending Oscar to be her very own husband. She felt that she was living a life that she had gained by lucky accident. Her only regret was that she had been unable to give the world and Oscar more people just like himself. Oscar came home later that night than usual. Bertie had watched the hockey game alone. He usually watched every game with Oscar, but both Bertie and Collette were happy when he got the chance to be with his two best friends. Oscar had many friends because he was a likable soul, but he had another level of friendship with those two. After the game, Bertie went to bed saying that he had a physics test in the morning. Collette had spent time reading because she secretly believed that hockey was a game for thugs. When Oscar got home, he found Collette reading in their bed. "Did I ever tell you that you're the most beautiful woman in the world? Was I smart enough to tell you that you're also the most wonderful, the kindest, and the sweetest woman in the entire world?" he said, climbing in beside her. "How many beers have you had, Oscar? You usually only talk like this after you've had a whole snootful." "Oh, you cynical woman. Can't a man just pour out his heart to his exquisite wife without being suspect?" Maybe, but just tell me how many." "Only 3. "Okay, maybe I am that wonderful," she said with a laugh. "Collette, I'm perfectly sober, and I must talk to you about something serious that's looming down on our family. I never wanted to make you talk about this, but I must. This threat is coming out of the past. I got advice from Jean-Claude and Dr. D, but there's no way that we can cope with this without you being on board." "You're scaring me, Oscar. What's happening?" "Collette, I got a call from McKee earlier today. He had spoken to the cop who was investigating Paulette's murder. They know that the guy who murdered her is Hans Schmidt." Collette turned to her husband with a look of horror on her face. "Hans Schmidt?" she whispered. "Yes, but there's more. The cops said that there is evidence that Schmidt started his murder spree in France during the war. The records of an orphanage report that he abducted 3 young girls, all 13 or under, all blonde and blue-eyed. 1 showed up dead. 2 were never found. The last girl that he took from an orphanage was 13 at the time. Her name was Collette Bigard." Collette looked at him with wide eyes, and she said the most unexpected thing in an utterly desperate tone. "Please, Oscar, don't stop loving me." She began to weep softly. Oscar scrambled over to hold her. "What are you saying, Collette? I could no more stop loving you than I could make my own heart stop beating. I love you. You're my hero. You saved me from a life of loneliness and meaninglessness. Collette, listen to me. I love you. I love you more than my own life. Don't you know that? If you don't know that, I have utterly failed you all, he asserted. She looked up to see if he was telling her the truth, and it was obvious that he was. Failed us? Are you kidding me, Oscar? You don't know how to fail any of us. If you mean that, then it's time for you to tell me what kind of monster we're really dealing with. Before he murdered Paulette, her own journal says that she told him about Bertie. It was then that Oscar saw terror, real terror, in Colette's eyes. After a moment, she began to talk about meeting Hans. I saw him come for other girls before he came for me. It was not just 2 others either. It was at least 4. They all looked something like me. They were all still little girls, not even young women. He liked the girls who were slow to develop, and those who were womanly were utterly jealous of the attention that he gave his choices. God forgive me, but I hoped that he would pick me. When the matron said that one or other of the girls had run away, I was not yet 13. First, he would take the girls for an afternoon out with ice cream or cakes. Then, if he liked her, he would take her out for lunch, and small gifts started to arrive for them. All the while, he told them that if she was his little girl, he would cherish her and love her. It was like water to parched souls. Then he would take them out for grown-up dinners where they could order anything they wanted, and he would laugh and joke and treat them gently. Finally, he would tell them and the orphanage that he was taking the girl away for the day. That's the end of this chapter. We're starting to deal with some more difficult issues. It's important for all of us to remember how bad things could actually be and how good they can be when we all maintain our dedication to doing what's good. Goodbye. I hope you have a great day. It's your friend Deborah Smith here. Deborah Smith Reeves.